Sunset Outdoor Supply. The big answer, the big question today, is why the 45 RC? And we're going to move outside shortly. We're going to have a couple of experts on this machine, running it. We're going to do some great video. I think we can answer the question as to why Ventrac invested a lot of time and money into this unit. It's definitely going to be well received in the right areas. The big question is, why did Ventrac invest so much time and money in the new Ventrac 45 RC? And I'll let Aaron explain that because he's better at this than I am. But there is a market, in some markets, this is the only option, period. So I'm going to let Aaron tell you why we did it.
So thanks for that intro, Barry. The first thing is because I can do this. So to talk about the 45 RC for a little bit, it's really a little bit different than what's out there in the market now. It's kind of groundbreaking, we think. It's the first hybrid tractor in the sense that you can drive it on the seat just like normal, or you can hop off and remote control it. And to change that over is really quickly. One of the things we learned when we were doing the research on RC units is that a lot of them end up as kind of just dead weight when they're not being used, and they really don't get used all that often. Most operators might put 100, 200 hours on an RC unit in a year, but if you're going to do that, then you're going to have a lot of money tied up in a machine that's just sitting in the shop most of the time. So we figured if we could build a unit out of our current 4520 platform that would allow you to tackle those jobs, spend the time doing the RC work when you need to, but then also give you the ability to get on the machine and run it like normal otherwise, that'd be a lot of value add. So we see a lot of customers in this space, in that municipal, DOT, even private contractor space, that need a machine like this or operate on properties that require the operator to be off the machine, but then also have the need for it to do other things in the off time or downtime. So that's why we built the 45 RC, and that's why it resembles the 4520 so much.
Is there anything, Aaron, that you can't do in RC mode that you can do in manual mode?
Good question. So I think probably the better answer is there's some things you wouldn't want to do. There's a few attachments that we probably will never certify to run in RC mode because there's just a little bit too much complexity to running them or too much risk. So I think about something like a boom mower. That's something where you really want to be able to see exactly where that head is on the ground and have that fine motor control. From 100 feet away or 300 feet away, you're not really going to have that. So I would say that's kind of out for now. Right now, what we've immediately certified is all rear discharge mowing decks, and we're going to have to go through the process on every attachment, just like we do with every machine, to get all of the attachments certified to do it. But once that's the case, anything that we've got certified for this machine, the answer would be no. If you can remote control it, or if you can sit on the machine and do it, you can remote control it, because you have all of the controls that you would need from sitting on the tractor on the remote control. There's nothing that's locked out from you.
Is there anything different about the RC mower that kind of is important compared to a manual machine?
For operation, just performance of the machine?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, if I sit on, I'm pretty average size, if I sit on here, most of my weight is collected right about this zone. As soon as I get off, the center of the gravity of the machine actually lowers, and we've gone to an even additional length of adding additional weight under the machine right here. So there's extra plates stacked underneath the footwell. As soon as the operator comes off, the center of gravity lowers, the machine actually does get better traction. So while we're rated the same as a 4520, the performance is a little bit better when you're in remote control mode. And I've experienced that real world in the field too, knowing that there's some areas that I know I can't get up, can't drive, can't quite get enough traction. As soon as I get off the seat, the machine does a little bit better in those areas.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I've wondered about. I appreciate you answering that. I know there's additional weight under it.
Yep.
It's there for a reason.
Yep.
And how about mid-weight bar? Anything necessary? Would it help? What do you think?
I think it would help. Kind of similar to our, because the chassis is so much the same and the weight distribution of the attachment and the tractor and everything is so similar, I think it would act about like it does on the 4520. So if you find it useful on that platform, it would be a very similar effect here.
Depending on the application.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it makes no difference.
I know we're running a lot. We run the hills in West Virginia. We've got some steep stuff.
Yeah.
So we're running just about the guys that are mowing commercially out there mowing, especially brush hogging, they're all running mid-weight bars now.
Yeah,
mid-weight
and chains.
Yeah, they love them, and chains. Yeah, chains are
and
real big.
Chains are compatible with this in the same way that they are now. So if you can put chains on, think about all those orientations, same thing carries over to this.
I think I would probably 90-some% of the time be running chains.
Yeah.
Always in brush hogging applications. Of course, you don't want to do it on turf.
Right.
But I think chains would be a tremendous asset with this machine, especially since your visibility might be, you're back away from the machine just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a hit, this thing. Now, I sell SCAG products. We sell the
I won't hold that against you.
Yeah, they're great products. We have the Tree Frog.
Yep.
That's their new remote control track machine.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we have tracks on a Ventrac?
Yeah. So firstly, the platform wasn't built for tracks, and it would have been probably cost prohibitive to get that to that point. But secondly, we actually see a lot of advantages in the wheels. So tracks are great for really steep slopes, straight up and down. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes if you're working on an area that truly is 45, 50 degrees, then you need those tracks to have that tractive effort up the hill. Most of what we see is that our machine and other machines aren't actually cutting hills that are steeper than 30, 35 degrees. So tracks are a little bit unnecessary, but then the advantages are actually at play too. So because we have wheels, we are much nicer to the terrain underneath. There are a lot of areas, even though they're rough cut, brush cutting areas, that you don't want to be able to turn or don't want to have to turn with tracks, because they still put ruts in the hill, they still promote erosion, all of the things you really care about in those areas for environmental protection, the wheels do better. So the only thing tracks are better at is if you don't have enough traction, sometimes tracks can do it and wheels can't. But as long as you've got enough traction, wheels are better in every way. The other thing it affords us is the ability to transport a lot faster. So I can get on this machine in high range, go 10 miles an hour down the road. That might not seem like it matters, because when you're working on the job, you're never going to go that fast. But a lot of what happens with RC machines is transport. We can get away in some cases even without even loading this on a truck and trailer, because we can go from one site to the next, or from the maintenance barn to the site that you're actually mowing. That track machine, you're going to be waiting for a long time to get it there, because they're all going at 2, 3, 4 miles an hour, and you're really not going to make the progress that you do with
They ride
this.
so rough.
They ride rough?
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked that question because I knew many people would want an answer to that,
Yeah.
but I agree.
Yeah. No matter what it is, you can make it good or bad or worse.
Yeah.
And in terms of wheeled machines, because of the way the chassis bends and twists on our machine and has constant contact with the ground, we do as good as anyone can do on wheels. And if we can do it, wheels are better.
I was amazed at watching Jeremy run the remote control Ventrac and how quickly he got onto it. I'm a little older, so I'm not from that generation, but I thought it was super reactive. I liked it, but you just took off with it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, I mean, coming from a Gen Z, video games, I picked up on it pretty quick. I'm from southwestern PA, outside of Pittsburgh, with Fairfield, and obviously we do a lot of business with Sunset Outdoor. So trying this new technology, I was a little bit leery, just wondering how the jerkiness was going to be. And to be honest, it seems like the electronic solenoids and the valves are really smooth, so it was not jerky at all, what I thought it was going to be. I've used some of the other remote controls. They just seem to be a lot more jerky when you're going. This machine definitely, even at the high idle, it didn't really take off. You had a lot of control with your fingertips, a lot of freedom. Also, doing all the extreme mowing, it does take a wear out on your body. I stood here, I was able to watch it get down the field. I know I'll be able to pick up doing the lines on those hills, doing the row mowing, so I feel like it's going to take a lot of operator fatigue out of it. Just because when you're on these machines on the hills, there's a lot of bumps and your back really gets beaten up. I had almost no energy involved with it, and the nice thing is this is a remote control, but you can also still operate it. So like for me, getting out to my different sections, I can bring the machine over. I don't have to walk with it. I can ride the machine in and back out of the row. So I feel like this is going to be a potential really good investment for us. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ventrac keeps coming up with. So
I'm glad you were here today. Did you know that the 45 RC has air conditioning?
Really?
Yeah, it's called your pickup truck.
Oh, okay.
You're in there with the windows up, stereo on.
Yeah.
So there's your air conditioning right there.
I'll definitely get used to that. So
Jeremy's a great operator. He's been operating Ventrac for a long time, but it was so nice to see him echo exactly what I said. I watched him take that remote, and better than me. His generation's better than me with remote control products. But instantly he was left, right, lift, lower, float. And I was amazed at how you were maneuvering around people.
yeah.
And I was kind of staying away from people, but you did. You blew me away.
Well, think about it. If you're using like the Rockhound attachment, you got all that dust kicking up on you. Now the machine's getting dusty and you're not getting covered in the dust. You can sit there and run everything because it can go right into the float right there.
Didn't think of that, but boy, are you right.
But you know, you have that, there's different functions on that remote control to operate the auxiliary hydraulics, so you're going to be able to get your depth height and all that stuff set on that Rockhound as well, and you can do it right off of the machine instead of getting covered with dust. You're standing out and away from it.
You know, it's something I didn't even think of, and I should have. But there are attachments we can't run yet. I don't know where we're at with the Hound, but I know it'll be here. We were talking about that. But you are so right. That is so miserable when you're out power raking. Oh my God. That's true.
There, you could sit inside your truck too if you don't want to buy the cab. You just have that.
I'm old school. If I saw my guy sitting in the truck, I'd probably fire him.
You're right. So,
all right.
thank you again.
Thanks, Jeremy. It's always a pleasure, buddy. Thanks for your time.
No problem.